at each of the corner of that metal box was a turret, and littered on top of everything and within any explosive distance whatsoever to those turrets are all of their passives lined up. There's kind of a little corner in the cubby hole in the side of the cliff. That's where all the storage was located.
All right. Next question is was this a fully functional base, or was this them just starting to create a base and they were moving some shit over there? I mean, I just kind of want an idea of what's going on. It doesn't really matter.
They were planning to move there. It wasn't up and running yet. They were just moving resources. But when we find vaults with 4 Senate rocket launchers and a whole bunch of other stuff in there, I mean, they have a fully functioning base that was left behind, the one we first raided on the other side of the map.
Yeah, it was a situation where like that the entire like crevice in there, we had put foundations down there beforehand, and we had sent somebody over to start moving stuff over because we were trying to just move everything over after the raid from the other day because we had been talking about it anyway, and figured that would be a good time to just move everything over.
So basically, if I understand it correctly, you guys were in transition of moving your base somewhere else, and basically PvP happened during your move. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, Moki or whoever wants to talk for highly questionable, do you have any issues with what Suwain, am I saying that right? Suwain,
Yeah.
do you have any issues with what he said on what went down?
Well, first, I like to say when I did come up to quote-unquote defend, I landed my, Quetzal, and I did not start shooting, just to clarify that. So I'm not sure who said I started shooting. The second fact is, again, with the C spinning, I was on the opposite side of the storage containers when they started C spinning the storage containers. There's, in my opinion, no reason that they should have been considered collateral damage with a Terra C spinning them.
Counterpoint, those unlocked boxes were surrounded by locked storage areas, which would have been fair game to destroy in either case.
Yeah, but they're like those little bench thingies, hopping over them, getting past them, it wasn't an issue. I set them up myself.
Yeah, I hadn't been over there until everything had been destroyed, and I ended up involved with this, I think, like, a decent way through it, so I didn't really see too much of what, like, actually went on, because I started coming over after you guys had shown up. By the time I got there, like, everything but the vaults had been destroyed. Whenever I had got there, the turrets had been emptied. I don't know how much was in them or what, but it went from that, and then I started trying to just pick shit up off the ground to, like, put it away, and I started throwing, like, bullets into the turrets because we had nowhere to put anything at that point. And I was just like, whatever, put them in there. And the point where I had just, like, panicked and banned everyone was when everyone would come back and, like, a Phiomia died, a snail died, and, like, things were blowing up around my terras. I didn't know who was there doing what. I didn't see names from anyone. I just knew Alter was there, and a couple people I never see online were there. And I was just like, oh god, like, is all of our shit about to die? Like, what's happening? And just kind of panicked. I didn't pick anything up off the ground. I pretty much just went AFK at that point. I didn't know anything had died. Like, I was in pretty much just total shutdown mode for a good 10 minutes trying to, like, handle everything with everyone on Discord. So I don't know what all happened after that either, because I think a couple people weren't, like, actually banned and were still on.
Alright, so...
But that was my reasoning for just, like, panicking and banning everyone. Like, I genuinely thought, like, everything was about to die, because, like, people were pissed from stuff going on. And I know, like, Alter hates Brendan and he was there or whatever, I don't know.
Alright, so to clear up another fact, sorry, Suyan, back to the whole locked chest, storage containers, and the locked crafting stations. Just to point out, the storage boxes have 2400 HP, and the locked crafting stations have 1500. All of the storage stations were destroyed before the locked crafting stations.
All right, well, let me interrupt really quick before anybody else speaks. I understand, Exceed, you are trying to correct the timeline on what he said, but I don't think there is an issue with them destroying large storage boxes or crafting areas. It is not... So, yes, you should try and raid a base and not destroy everything in the base. I get that. But when you are doing a PvP battle and shit is hyped and whether or not you were there shooting or not really doesn't matter because you can PvP and kill anybody anywhere on the island. It doesn't matter. But I wouldn't, if I was a tribe leader or if I was leading a PvP raid, I wouldn't make sure somebody goes down and checks to make sure every single large storage box or crafting area is unlocked or anything like that. So I don't think there's an issue with them killing any of that.
I mean, I know they had gotten there before. I think none of us were actually there whenever they had actually showed up there, so there wasn't any actual fighting going on at the time. Hang on, I fucking forgot what I was about to say. Hang on. Someone else start talking until I remember.
It's just
I'd like to add something. We have repeated examples in all of our rating where we really take the utmost care in rating. When a dinosaur is neutral, we don't automatically kill it. We lead it away. We don't indiscriminately blow up things. We take what we want. We don't just drop things.
I have an issue with that. Comment.
Yeah, can I say something too when you're done?
I also remembered what I forgot that I was about to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, regardless, it doesn't matter. I don't care if people are destroying large storage boxes or not. It's not a fucking concern of mine. It takes less than 100 resources to rebuild your large storage box. So whether or not somebody C-spun through a bunch of large storage boxes and killed all of them, I really don't give two shits about that.
I mean, the way I had taken it as them destroying all of this stuff was less of hey, we destroyed your box, you're gonna have to rebuild it, but was more of a thing of they know we're moving all of our stuff, and it's hey, all of this stuff's dropped on the ground, and now you have nowhere to put it.
Let's all stay here together.
Would you?
Use your special abilities.
Put down traps.
They were the medium ones. They hold 75 slots, and had been full beforehand.
I mean, either way, casualty of a raid. And in addition, I mean, when you're saying you were very concerned that your stuff was dying, I think we've had a fairly good rapport in the past, Mochi. I have nothing personal against you. I'm displeased with this action. Could have poked me in chat. Could have said something in chat. Chat went silent when this happened.
We'll get to the banning stuff. We'll get to it.
Sure. Okay.
Before we go on with a different section of this, I was there to watch and whatnot. So, one thing.
Can you
who
say
said
your tribe
that
name? I don't know who you are.
We're from the White Knights. We were just watching from the side. Anyways, who said that you guys take great care of your raids and what you kill and what you don't kill or destroy?
I do.
I have a few examples that you're lying about that, or you're just Anyways, I have video of you guys killing passive Brontos, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
And then two.
The Broncos were used as a defensive wall on a base raid.
This was before there was a defensive wall. This was when they were lined up where they were already lined up before when the raid first started.
I appreciate you, White Knights, trying to provide evidence on past shit, but I don't really care about it right now. That's not really what we're here to talk about. I really only want to talk about last night and what happened last night.
I mean, kind of just an extension of the previous raid, though.
Yeah, this was all a 48-hour period, really consecutive kind of thing that went on.
Point of inquiry, everybody, can we please state we don't all know each other by voice. Can you please state your tribe name when you start speaking?
So, I don't know. Does anybody from Highly Questionable want to say anything else before we move on to the next shit? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, from everything that's been said right now, I don't see any rules broken or anything like that from anybody that said anything. The only questionable thing that both sides have brought up to me was the throwing of grenades into the passive pen, which after talking to a couple of you in private chats, in the short limited time I had last night, and then kind of what you said, I don't think it was done intentional. So
I would like to stop you on that. I 100% think the passive killing was intentional. All of the passive killings were done by a player that was on the Flintstones after all the other players were banned.
Okay, so
What?
All of the passive dinos that were killed from for us were all killed by your Terra by someone who was not banned when you were all banned.
Okay, so first off, what passives were killed? Were these important breeding passives? Were these just little things up against a wall? What are we talking about? What was killed? How many of what was killed? What is it?
I mean, they weren't important. It's still the fact of the matter that they were passive.
Level 22 Akatina, level 29 Fiamina.
I mean, you're literally trying to get a whole tribe banned because of a couple storage boxes and a snail.
Did I say that I want you all banned for?
Yeah, I don't want anybody banned over this. Hang on.
Okay.
I don't want anybody banned. Like I said, like I had no intention of keeping like anybody banned. Like I freaked out. I was worried like if I banned like one person, I figured out like people were gonna get pissed and just do like whatever and start like freaking out and killing things. I didn't know who was doing what. Like honestly, zero intention of like wanting anybody to be banned at all.
So are we just gonna have admins banning people preemptively from now on?
Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. I
Okay.
want to talk about these passives first. So you said grenades were thrown on turrets at a passive pen. So it's my understanding then that Moki, your tribe, has a passive pen with turrets surrounding it just to
Can you go
protect
look at
people
it?
around it.
Everything's like built differently now. Like
At the
they've
time,
kept building.
it was like
The
everything
dinos
was on
haven't
your
been
back
moved,
because
though.
nothing was built. Okay, then it's still there.
Yeah, we have walls up now, and none of the dinos were really moved.
I
Okay,
mean,
can we agree that it was a square metal foundations with turrets in all the corners
The
and
turrets are still in the
passives littered in between everything?
The
Yes.
passives were inside of the metal foundations, and the turrets were on the very corners of the box of foundations.
Do we agree that the passives were in range of explosives attacking?
I would say
the
some of
turrets?
them might have been. I know whenever I saw whoever had been dropping grenades, they like would have been in range of the turrets if they had bullets in them. I don't know if they did at that time or not. Like my memory is really blurry at this point for everything going on. But I do know like I had seen like fucking grenades that had been blowing up like on the ground rather than being shot out of the air like they do with like turrets.
Well, my thing is, we were really trying to kill your passives, and we were angry. Why wouldn't we have used our multiple ascendant rocket launchers, our rocket quetzes?
Because you were already all banned. The person who was killing the passives was who was left on the Terra.
Who is the person that was?
Yeah, I don't
killing
know what
passives?
this is.
It doesn't say who killed it. It just says the Terra had killed
Yeah.
it.
Because I mean, the Terra might have been on neutral.
Well,
unless
that's just
something-
speculation.
Unless something attacked the Terra, it wouldn't have
Turrets
attacked.
that still had bullets.
It could
Either
also
way,
make
this
sense that if somebody was on the Terra and then they got banned, maybe it was still flying around and doing shit, and then it wouldn't say a name, obviously, because they were just banned from the server, so they're not online. I mean, is that possible?
I still think Terra, like
Yeah, I think it
dinos-
doesn't show player name for who was riding a dinosaur. I think it just shows
I have
dinosaurs.
a question. Do pterodons C-spin by themselves, or is that a manual action? Like,
No.
can they?
manual.
Can't do it by themselves. It has to have like somebody telling them to C-spin.
We were all banned nearly simultaneously, and we actually had other players who were offline log on to take screenshots of the tribe log. So I don't know who would have been left. And it
If-
I
sounds
know
like
there
there's
was somebody I was
there's
talking
no
to.
evidence of who that person was, or whether or not it was malicious intent. I mean, by admission, you don't know who it was. You don't know what pterodon it was. It's just you saw some pterodon C-spinning. Is that correct?
We have the pterodon name, or we should.
Can you share that with us?
I'm not. I'm studying.
It's,
Seeds on.
Who's online?
oh, it's actually the Quetzal and Jet.
Okay, so those were ridden by people who were banned.
Jet had been parked outside of the wall though, so someone had landed it.
Yeah.
After wait, I was still online to witness that happening. The Quetzal was laying right next to it, and then all of a sudden, the Quetzal just flew right into the turret and was immediately killed while they were all banned.
So it's some funny business went down, but we don't know who did it. We don't know how exactly it happened, and our players could not physically have done anything to avoid the damage because we were banned at the time. Is this
I
an
know
accurate statement?
I had been talking to somebody in chat, and I guess we don't have logs of those or whatever, but I know I had been talking to somebody who was left online while everyone else was freaking out while I was being like, hang on, like, I'm getting a hold of like Einan, like I'm having him talk to people, like, don't freak the fuck out. Because it was one person left, and I was like, I'm not gonna just ban them to keep them from talking here, because that's just gonna make things worse. But I do not remember who it was. No, I know it was someone I don't regularly see online.
Okay, so what are we talking about then? Is this conversation done?
Yeah, let's move on. So I'll say right now, and if you have a disagreement, go ahead and talk afterwards. But up until this point, I don't see any wrongdoing at all. I think the PvP raid and blowing up the large storage boxes is not an issue. I wouldn't think it's an issue if any raid ever. I'm not requiring people, if they're going to raid a base, to go and get off your rider and check to see if things are unlocked or locked or not. I don't really care. I don't think that should be part of the raid, especially it kind of, could put you in danger if you are raiding and you hop off to go check everything to see if it's locked or unlocked. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me at all. So I don't
No, that's not the issue though, Papa. They already knew everything was unlocked.
They had gotten into the unlocked vaults beforehand.
They were raiding everything before I had gotten there. They saw that everything was unlocked before they started.
Not everything was unlocked.
The crafting stations were locked because they're locked by default. The storage boxes and the vaults weren't, because Allywise had forgotten to lock things before he left.
My bad.
So
Alright.
you would have preferred that we sat there with hatchets under fire from turrets and smashed just the unlocked.
From what you said is that you had completely drained the turrets before I had gotten there. They were definitely not shooting you when I got there.
I mean, dude, either way, like, the
Yeah, it
raid's
doesn't
the
matter.
raid. Like, that's not really a huge... Like, it's understandable.
Okay, so
Point of fact is, we should have never been banned.
we'll talk about that later.
we'll
I
move
do
on to that.
believe the issue of the storage boxes has been concluded.
Alright, yeah, so it does say in our rules, do not do excessive damage to bases. If containers are unlocked, do not destroy them. I get that that's in the rules. I'm going to be honest, I'm probably just going to delete that after we're done talking after this, because I don't give a shit about storage lockers and large storage lockers. Like, they take 100 resources to rebuild. I don't care if people go through and wipe out the tables, shit like that. It's not that big of a deal.
Then there needs to be some clarification on that rule.
Like, what happens when we get into, like, higher level stations or whatever, where they were unlocked so they aren't destroyed, like, things that take a lot of resources to build, like, forges?
Okay, so this is where I would get into the fact that I cannot make a rule for everything. I cannot decide how something should go which way or another based on every single type of storage box or storage thing in there. So I think maybe we should sit down and talk about the rules afterwards, because I think that's a little too fucking specific. Basically, if we look at the rules right now, how they're laid out, people are going to have to do a whole bunch of shit to make sure they don't break any rules when they do a PvP raid. That's pretty much not feasible to really do, I don't think. So, and like I said, we have to talk about it afterwards. I don't even play the fucking game right now, so maybe other people feel differently, and I don't make the rules all myself. So maybe that's something we could bring up in a discussion on the forums. We could all talk about it, put in our 2 cents. Maybe we can vote on it after this. But let's move on. One last thing, regardless, if I was, strictly by the book, they broke shit, they broke rules, still, I would not ban them. I mean, Moki knows this, and I'm sure a lot of old people know this. I don't jump to banning, ever. I only ban people that come into the chat room and openly disrespect the admin team, or disrespect others, or people who are racist in chat. That is the only, like, trigger where I just snap, I ban you, you're done. If you're going to walk in to the chat and call people the N-word or disrespect the admins, I guarantee you're going to do it another day after that. You're not welcome here. That's pretty much the only thing I ever banned for. I'm pretty sure I might have even have it in the rules here somewhere on our forums that I typically do eye for an eye type of stuff. So if somebody breaks a rule on a base, I'll talk to them about it, but then I'll go do eye for an eye and I'll go break some shit on their base. That's typically what our punishments have been in the past. As for the banning, I've talked to Moki about it, and obviously that's not what I would want done ever in the first place. I don't think that was the right decision to do. Especially banning them from Discord, so they couldn't even talk afterwards about what had happened. So obviously that's never going to happen again. If this had happened to me, I was a playing admin, which I'm not, but if this was my tribe and I saw a couple of people throwing grenades at my passive pen and a couple of passives may have died, that are close to, expensive breeders or whatnot. Myself, as a playing admin, if I had to do a drastic movement, I would have shut the server down or something. I would have interrupted play for everybody. I wouldn't have just banned a bunch of people. Now, I don't know really what you guys want me to do about that. It's done. It's over with. I mean, me and Moki have talked about it. Obviously, it's never going to happen again. I had a lot of people message me about admin abuse and stuff like that. This is the first time I've ever really had to step in and say something like this. I don't think it was Moki's intention at all, obviously to ban you guys permanently. That would never go down. I don't want to sound like I take favorites on people, but I would obviously never ban a donor without talking to them in the first place, and I know several of the people in your tribe have donated to the server before, so obviously that's a very wrongdoing. I wouldn't have done that. The action itself was bad. I don't think it should have been done, but as an admin, you do have discretion to do things that you think you need to do at a time when something is going down. I don't really know how to word that properly. Do I think the banning should have happened? Obviously not, but it did. I don't know what else to say after that. I know that it will be corrected in the future. Obviously, it's not going to happen again. I don't know what else I can do to make it right, because like I said, it did happen. There's nothing we can do to go back and fix it, but just know going forward, stuff like that is not going to happen again. If that is acceptable to you guys, I would appreciate that. If you want to talk about it, if you want to privately message me about it, whatever you guys want to do from here, that's all I got, though.
I mean, I'll say this. I'm not personally out for blood. I guess the only thing I want is the assurance that from here on out there's going to be, fair expectations. We don't try and play dirty. We should have just the fair expectation of, being seen. We like I said, we spend hours giving out stuff to new players, make them feel welcome. So I mean, we're not trying to be jerks. We're not like Heroes Association trying to bend.
Can I cut you off?
Brandon
I'm still talking.
Brandon Simmer.
Let him finish.
So that's all. Like, our tribe's donating money. They're not going to donate money just to waste it by breaking rules and being a dick to everybody. I mean, some of it's just game politics. I don't hold any personal grudges against anybody. It's a game. I mean, just like I said, I just want, here on out, just, fair expectations on both sides. I'm not gonna do shitty things. I just don't want shitty things done to me.
All right, to kind of put my 2 cents in there. One, you say that you guys aren't shitty, but you pick on a tribe because they had one of the players join their tribe. Okay. 2,
What are you talking about?
He's talking about the guy who attacked our passive
Jon
pen.
Snow, and you guys went and raided their base just because he joined the tribe.
We
You guys
don't
say
need
that
an
you're not like.
excuse to raid someone.
We,
PvP.
Brendan, just don't be shitty, dude. We're trying to be civil here.
We've
We
also
did
never
not-
attacked them. I actually will clarify this because I made the threat myself. I got in contact with the leaders of that tribe, informed them what had happened, that somebody had attacked us with an illegal Quetzal at 5 a.m., clear attempt to offline raid, and that they attacked our passives deliberately. Didn't attack the building, just the passive pen. I informed that we had dealt with that problem ourselves, and we don't want any trouble with their tribe, Boxville. But if any sort of issue comes up with this player again, we will burn him out wherever he goes. So we have flat out said, listen, it's nothing personal, and we're not coming after you. But just know we've had an issue with this new guy you've recruited, so you don't get surprised if something goes down.
And that's the same thing, like, Zane had told me, like, whenever I had asked him about it a few days ago, so.
And then, Papa, is there, since we were talking about the whole excessive damage to bases, is there any clarification on excessive damage to gates and gateways?
Yeah, I have had 2 people mention to me that they felt the amount of damage done to our gates in the raid was excessive by their opinions.
I would like to counter that. On a server where you can gather tens of thousands of
It doesn't matter.
It still doesn't need to be done, though. Like,
Well,
I get that it's easy to replace.
Can we clarify why it happened? So we're talking now about the original raid, where we
Yes.
spent about 2 hours slamming our heads against the same hole, and you guys defended beautifully. We were getting picked, we couldn't get through. so we had to make a couple new holes. So we found out where your jail was, blew a hole there. We blew, I think, 4 other holes in your base, and we're attacking it from all sides simultaneously.
Bullshit.
That's not
Brendan.
correct.
Either way, we poked a couple holes to try and come from different directions. I don't see how this is a problem. Is there not? How would you suggest we solve this? You're only allowed to make 1 hole in a wall, and if you can't raid there, you're good night, go to bed.
You don't need to destroy half or more than half of the gates, though. That's how many you destroyed.
It was like a lot.
I'd like to
It
chime in
wasn't
here.
4 or 5.
I was saying for the first raid, I was sitting there watching the whole time on my bird. I wasn't actually participating, but for the amount of Brontos and where they were fighting, I mean, if they were all fighting in one like behemoth gate area, that would have been extremely crowded.
They went after and did a bunch of other stuff. Like it was an 8-hour raid, dude.
Yeah, I
the
know.
whole
I've
thing.
watched the whole thing.
Oh, you watched
Holy
that whole
shit.
thing?
The whole
That's
thing.
impressive.
Yep.
Getting sniped by Meme Queen.
Shout out to
Yell shot him a lot.
Hey man, I wasn't about to spyglass before I shot you.
So to boil down this conversation, the complaint against us is that we destroyed multiple gates. That which you believe is excessive. Our defense is that we couldn't get through the hole we made, so we made a few more to try different angles of approach. Papa, what is your feeling on this action?
I'd like to point or say that it was a lot more than 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. There were like 3 gates left when I logged on. It was a lot.
All right, so
And they say that they were poking holes to, actually go through more than half of those holes they did not come through.
Yeah, I just feel like they
I
were
used
very
my
wide
shoot-through.
holes, and some weren't particularly used. I just feel like it was a lot of gates, like all in one spot, like a really long row. And I heard from like 2 separate people that like they felt it was excessive. And yeah, I mean, I'm not overly upset about the gates personally, like as objects. I just feel like there were some like points where it was like you could have easily done with like destroying like fewer gates than you had.
But any damage could have
we've-
been fixed within an hour of gathering and then placing.
let me.
Because you can gather so much.
let me
But
just take
that
over-
was like, I'm sorry, can I
Brendan.
say one thing?
Yeah, hurry up.
It's regardless of the rates on this server, it's the fact that to us it looked like you were trying to blow up our gates to put us further back. Because yes, the rates are high. Those gates still cost a fuck ton of metal.
I understand you feel that way. I totally see that. But really, y'all were kicking our ass, and we had to open up the field of view. That's what it came down to. We couldn't get through. We couldn't snipe you. We couldn't hit you. We were bottlenecked. We had to blow more open to distract you from that hole so that we can get through there to get the first turret down. And then otherwise to get the jail because you kept jailing us.
All right, I understand. Like,
I'm gonna jump in here real quick. We've all agreed on what happened. I think it's now time for a ruling.
Yeah, let me talk here for a couple minutes. So, my interpretation of the rule would be: don't leave a fucking tribe a foundation. Don't leave them just a sinking hole in the ground. Now, do I agree that you should go around and kill every single fence around the base? Probably not. But if that's what you need to do to raid a base, then that's what you need to do to raid a base. If you need to take an extra opening to get into somewhere else, or if you need to split up your 8-man tribe and each person takes down one single wall by themselves and then they all go in at the same time, I don't really give 2 shits how much shit you take down. We have 2 very active admins on this server, Moki, and I may not log in a lot, but I'm always here. And if something like this happens, I have always in the past, and I don't think anybody can dispute, that I will replace shit that happens accidentally or a little over the top. I have no problem with spawning you in some extra gates if they were taken down accidentally or if something was collateral damage. I don't think anybody can say that I've never actively not replaced something that, had been raided that maybe shouldn't have been raided in the first place. So I don't really see a problem with them. I mean, I didn't sit there and see it. I don't know how big of a scale it is. I don't know how many walls you guys are talking. You can give me an exact amount if you want, but I really don't see a big deal with that.
We had 15 out of 45 walls left.
I believe most of the doors were gone, but a lot of the
No, the whole
Really?
left side that you guys came in from, there was not a single.
Yeah, a lot of the
frame.
doorways got broken with everything going on. I know I replaced doors a couple times, but a lot of the frames ended up getting broken over time since it was like 8 hours.
I just need everybody to understand that I can't set a rule for every specific scenario that happens. That's literally impossible. Myself and Moki have sat down. Moki actually went through and redid the rules a couple weeks ago and clarified a few things, which maybe we need to sit down and take another look at. But there's never going to be a rule for every scenario that happens. And I can't make the determination if 30 walls out of 45 is overkill or not. Really can't. If that's what you need to do to PvP and break into their base, then that's what you need to do. If you guys all come at me and say, this is a little absurd, I can't believe they blew up most of my shit, honestly, I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to give you 15 walls back. That's just the type of person I am, and I'm sure that's the same thing Moki would do anyways. So I think maybe over the next few days we can have some discussions on the forums. We can even have another little chat like this where we have an all-time record of fucking 20 people in one channel all talking to each other. We can sit down and we can discuss rules going forward. I mean, that's how this server was built. I've never once, other than the initial settings we put on the server, I don't really make too many dictator-type changes. We all kind of decide together, and that's what we do. So if we need to have a discussion on these rules, if we need to clarify things, if we need to get rid of some of these rules, if you don't like the excessive damage to bases rule and you want to get rid of that, maybe we need to talk about that and just remove it for the future.
Definitely think we need to talk about that.
I like what you said, Papa, earlier about the whole point of the rule was to make sure people aren't left with just smoking foundations.
Yeah.
Right, we're interpreting the rule way too strictly in a lot of cases. We have
And
to go to
that's
PvP
why I
cells, the
suggested
whole
clarification.
Point. Oh no, I understand, and you're right to.
So let's end this because I didn't want to spend all night on this. I know it was kind of a big deal, but why don't we over the next couple days I'll make some posts on the forums, and maybe next weekend, since it's already like 9 o'clock Eastern right now and it's getting kind of late, maybe if people want to get together and talk about this kind of stuff. I mean, Highly Questionable and Flintstones, to my knowledge, are the two big tribes on the server, so I don't have any problem with both of you guys getting involved with setting up the rules for the server. That's perfectly fine.
Because we
Real
play
quick.
so well together.
Are we not talking about the passive killings in the initial raid?
I mean,
Passive
I
killings.
don't know what much you want me to say about it other than I don't think they had any wrongdoing. Obviously, when...
No.
What's that?
Tribe
Sorry,
names
Papa,
start,
to
please.
interrupt. No,
Who
I'm
are
not
you?
talking about alley-wise. I'm not talking about, like, the thing with the boxes. That's whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm talking about, like, sending Rexes in to kill passive Brontos.
The Brontos had been moved from their standing position, which were all lined up against the wall, to lengthwise as part of the wall.
Not then, before that.
You guys had 6 hours to prepare because one of our tribe mates decided to tell you were coming
I mean, we
long in
literally
advance.
didn't move those Brontos, though. They've been sitting there for weeks.
I've been scouting you every single day prior to that.
Then you know that those Brontos literally didn't move. They're sitting against that wall.
He moved that day.
I had moved some Brontos, but some of them were still lined up next to a passive pen that I didn't move because they didn't have saddles, and it would have been a fucking hassle. I did move some Brontos toward the other sides of the base, though.
Can we agree that the Brontos were positioned lengthwise directly adjacent to the wall, therefore being almost part of it?
Some of them, yes. Hang on. No, I had moved a lot of the saddled Brontos all around the wall that way to keep things from walking through if things got broken. Like, that happened. There were some Brontos that were up against near, like, that big Quetzal Tower thing we have that were not lengthwise, hadn't been moved because they didn't have saddles, and were just kind of, like, sitting there. I know later on I had sent them in after everything had been broken down, but for most of the raid, they had been sitting there not doing anything but the passive pen.
So to my recollection, not only were Brontos after that used as a way to repulse us, bringing them into the fight, but at the end, most of the Brontos, if not all, were then used to surround your central building. Is that correct?
I was in a cage at that point. I'm not sure what went on after that, but I know I got back and Brontos were all over the fucking place. But I do know Brontos were being attacked and stuff before I had started sending them everywhere. I don't know if anything even died, but...
They didn't. I personally sent those Rexes against the Bronto that was blocking our walkthrough ability of the wall, or was about to be blocking the walkthrough ability of the wall when we were about to blow up in more gates. I consider that part of the wall.
Let me clarify something, and I'm going to absolutely agree with Suin. If you are putting large dinosaurs up against a wall, around a wall, very close to a wall, I would always consider them as a tribe who would PvP against your base. I would consider that part of your base. They're in my fucking way. They are maybe making it so if I blew a hole in the wall, I can't get my Quetzal through it. I would consider those Brontos to not be passive at that point, and they should be taken out.
I agree.
Alright, then I apologize. I just got off work when the raid was happening, so I did not know about this preparation.
Yeah, I had moved a lot of them around or whatever. I know some had stayed, but a lot of them, yeah, like those ones that were like scattered around long ways or whatever, I put them there because we didn't have enough to like not put them long ways.
If we were to take Homestar and Phase Defy's base before they decided to quit the server or whatever happened, and say there were passive dinos all around his square base, those should all be considered part of the base and can be taken down.
Yeah.
There are Brontos that are either on neutral or aggressive. Even at that point, I still wouldn't ever expect somebody to try to drag them away from the base or anything. If they're standing on or right next to the base, I would consider them part of the base, and they should be able to be killed.
Yeah, I know. There were Brontos, like the ones I had moved, like I fully expected to be attacked, like place them with the intention of keeping like people out or whatever. The ones that I had moved away from like our usual Bronto holding cell. So I'm not like arguing that point at all.
Alright, I'm not now that I know what happened. To my knowledge, they were sitting there and then were attacked. I know differently.
Alright, so I think that's all the complaints against us. Is that correct? We can get into chat stuff later if you guys like.
I know I've heard from a couple like random people or whatever being concerned about the number of bases you guys have. I haven't looked. I haven't cared enough to really go around and look, but I've heard from a couple people on our tribe and then a couple random people that I don't remember who it was that you guys have too many.
As it stands, we have 2 bases. One would be given to Jarrell, and we have a mining base on a mountain. That is all we have, and a sea pen.
If you find any pillboxes anywhere, let us know. We'll be happy to take them down.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't checked. I've just heard from a few people or whatever that they like feel like you guys are doing that.
I think Jarrell has built in 2 places.
He tore the other one down.
Been removed
The one by Red Obby?
Yes.
Right, and I think also he's got something on
No, he removed the first one. He removed it, and he physically moved it over.
What about the one in the rocks? What's it called?
In the Stonehenge, that's his.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's where he's staying?
Yes, but he had one at Obby, but he physically took it down and rebuilt it at where he is now.
All right. Yeah, because I mean, I haven't really said much about it because I have a hard time with the whole how many bases is too many really subjective thing, especially with how many like people you guys have. Like, I don't know how to make a proper ruling on that, and it's never really come up before. So I haven't really said anything.
That's another rule that needs to be clarified in the future.
We currently occupy no spaces that are not actively utilized on a daily basis.
Well, like Moji said, I have also been talking to a few people, and they also said that you guys had upper to 6 or 7 bases. So I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not
Tell me
sure
where.
how.
Get coordinates for us. Because they may be like leftover little bases when we raided or something like that. We should only have 2 large bases.
And one should be transferred to drill.
Yeah, as a former member, I think the people that might have complained are talking about little things like a saber pen, someone built like a little cabin in the snowy area.
Yeah.
No more than 2 would actually be considered bases, and the rest are generally in areas where people wouldn't actually build a base, not taking up any territory.
If anybody sees one, just message Suin, Dynan, Alter Beast, Kool-Aid Man or Shadow, and we'll come take care of it.
Are you guys keeping that pen thing you have on the West Coast, or was that just kind of kept there specifically for this raid? Or, like, you guys plan on using it?
Planning on keeping stuff there, yeah.
Alright.
But
Right.
is there a difference between raid bases with passives, or is that considered a pen that can be killed?
I would never say that there's a such thing as a raid base with a passive pen. If you set up a base outside of somebody else's base that you are planning on raiding, I kind of feel that any dino you take to that raid base would be on limits, and you can go ahead and wipe it out.
I would
nobody
agree.
have a problem
I
with
think
that.
everybody has an established main compound, like us. If we put up a base across the map, it would be unreasonable to expect that to be safe. We would have to. I would totally agree that that would be subject to not having the same base protections.
Just remember, we personally don't attack other people's dinos in the field. You'll know yesterday I had the option to eat all your turtles. Chose not to because that's not how I play. So
Told you
if you're
so.
going to attack somebody's pens or something like that, be aware that you're no longer safe in the field.
All right. So, was there something we needed to talk about with the chat? Something you guys wanted to say?
I'm still not entirely sure. I believe people were upset about that trash talking that's been going on. This is complete speculation because nobody's actually told me anything. Until right now, I didn't even know what we were accused of.
Kind of got a little nasty with each other, but we'll dial it back.
I've never witnessed, other than perhaps an excessive insult or a swear word. I've never witnessed anything racial from either side, sexist, anything discriminatory in any way from either side.
I mean, I feel like the amount of arguing between Alter and Brendan is excessive and really shitty. Like, I'm fine with the whole raid thing, but like, fun instantly went away after like you guys started getting super fucking shitty with each other and all that, because it happens all the fucking time.
I mean, who threatened to send their lawyers after me for that jail guard action? That was fucking funny. Most of the point I'm making is most of the shit talk has been in fun. I haven't really seen any legitimate anger and like yet fighting.
I know Alter and Brendan get shitty a lot, which I fucking hate seeing all the time. But that's like my only complaint. Like, I get you guys don't like each other.
You say all the time, it has been twice.
There have been times you've gotten shitty in game. There have been times you've gotten shitty in Discord. Like,
so we have two players who dislike each other.
I'm just saying, like, I don't care if you guys hate each other, but
I mean,
like,
it's the nature of a large community, though. People won't get along.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, maybe hold back on like the extreme public shittiness. PM each other if you want to bitch it out or something. Like, I'm just so fucking tired of seeing it everywhere. Personally.
Regardless of anything, though, we do not have a no shit talk chat rule, so you're not breaking any rules. If you want to shit talk people, go ahead and shit talk people. But if you're getting excessive about it, I would agree with Moki. Take it to Discord or something else. I mean, from a admin owner standpoint of the server, people bitching back and forth to each other in chat all day long is gonna look shitty to a new person that joins the server. And I want to keep as many people as I can to join my community and stay on our server. So I would say, if you guys are gonna go on a long, tangent of talking shit back and forth to each other, maybe we could take it to a PM in Discord, but there's no rule against it. So.
All right. So as it stands, unless there's anything else, I believe all accusations against us have been dropped.
So, let me end with, I want anybody to message me anything you lost if you want it replaced after last night's raid, regardless of what happened, outcomes, I don't really give a shit. If you want something back that you lost, feel free to whisper me and we will replace it. Dino or item, I don't care. If you were part of these two raids, I will go ahead and replace it for you, just so everybody's happy. I know a lot of dumb shit happened on both sides, so message me, give me a list. Don't put it in the general chat. Private message me on Discord, and I'll take care of it on a one-by-one basis.
Real quick, Papa, as far as, I think they lost 2 dinosaurs that were bred ones. I don't know how you want to go about replacing those. I know Homestar had a major problem last wipe whenever we had all our passives killed, and I was replacing them at base level, which, thinking back on, was like pretty bad since it's like a total reroll of stats up to like level like 260 or whatever, and it's broke as fuck. I don't know if you want to give them like maybe like new like 160s or something to like balance it out, but I would very much recommend not spawning in like a level 300 Subterra.
Which
No.
birds are you talking about?
There's.
Yeah, I think a
they-
Quetzal and a Terra died of theirs.
When
As
did
far as I
those
know.
die?
Quetzal, just the Quetzal died.
What did it die of?
The
The
turret.
turrets after my whole like ban thing. So
Okay.
personally, I would recommend going with like maybe like a 160 Quetzal to balance it out some.
Yeah, we can do a few levels higher over the max level, and I mean I can sit there and spawn in Quetzals all day until we get the right stats on it. So if you
God.
have an idea, you know, if it was a high stam, high HP Quetz, you know, we can cycle through some Quetzes and I'll get it replaced. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not too worried about that right now.
Is there a command to clone dinos?
Is there a command to what?
Clone dinos, because I think what you guys lost was a bred weight Quetzal.
It
and,
was imprinted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a huge loss. Like, it's tough to get one. It's tough to imprint them.
It's a
But
20-hour editing process.
If you were able to clone the other weight Quetzal, it's probably the best return.
There is no way for me to copy
Yeah.
a dino.
Or even set stats. If someone wants to be the most amazing person in the world and make a mod that you can spawn dinosaurs with set stats, I would love you forever. But it's fucking hassle.
Alright, we can all sort that out later with who lost what and whatnot.
Really, what they need to do is just
one-
make it to where you can spawn in an imprinted egg. I mean, a fertilized egg.
Yeah.
That would help. Yeah.
My one concern, my one very serious concern, I want to know that if we're the two biggest tribes on the server, and clearly we've got some, we like fighting with each other, we're going to be PvPing again. I don't want to be banned again in the middle of a raid.
No,
If there's some sort of issue, I think we should understand that the issue will be worked out afterwards, after a crime has been committed. If the situation comes up again where I'm banned in the middle of a raid without any accusation, I mean, I'm gone. I'm done.
no,
And I like it here, but that's that I can't stand for.
I completely understand you. And if this was myself that was there, it wouldn't have been handled like this. I mean, I can't speak for Moki, and she can say whatever she wants to say after I'm done here. Just know that this is the first time something like this has happened. And I give Moki full discretion to do whatever she deems fit that she needs to do to handle a situation. Now, she handled it by banning you guys all and then tried to sort it out later. Do I agree with that? No. Do I ever want to see that done again? No. She knows that. But it happened at the time. It's not going to happen again. There's different ways we would handle a situation like that again in the future. Obviously, it wouldn't be banning. Obviously, after this talk that we've had here, you guys know, and everybody should have known, including Moki should know, that I always will handle something after it's done. I will always replace something after it's already done. I will always do my best to make things right after it has happened. So no, I don't think you have anything to worry about in the future, Suin. Nothing like that's going to happen again. I do want everybody to know that, you know, we do this job for free. I know you guys, you know, everybody here has donated to the server. This is not a paid job. This is not something that I give Moki money to do on a daily basis. It's something that she does out of the goodness of her heart for a better server. And we're currently looking for another admin that will hopefully do the exact same thing. And, you know, the people that we're looking at, I think we've had 2 or 3 people from Flintstones apply to help us out with that as well. So I just want people to know in this chat that, you know, there's no admin abuse here. I don't think that there was any abuse intentions, you know, that had happened with this. It was just a bad decision that happened, and it's obviously not going to happen again. We've had this talk, and I hope you guys can understand that.
Let's be honest, it could have been worse. She could have wiped all your structures.
Oh god.
It's true, if she actually went full, like, panic, that could have gone really bad.
Everybody makes mistakes. Is you know, it's,
Everybody has those days.
Yeah. Like,
Well,
again, like, I
yeah,
talked to a couple of you about it or whatever. Like, I agree it was, like, a bad decision. I don't feel like it was, like, the right thing to do in the moment. Like, I've said to a few of you, and, like, genuinely, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry for any, like, panic or confusion that, like, came out of it, and, like, I don't intend to ever do it again.
it's all good. It was bad timing. For a couple of us, we were already in a bad mood.
Can we go ahead and admit that the only reason you guys took all our shit there was because you were salty that you couldn't get in our
Oh my
base?
god, Brendan.
Brendan,
No,
No,
honestly,
we found undescended ascendant gear.
Yeah, it was
I'm sure
purely
that's the
cost.
reason.
Brendan, the reason they took all shit is because I'm retarded and didn't lock our vaults.
It was
That is why they took
Exactly
our
it,
stuff.
dude. We were gonna raid you that night either way. We just got lucky and found your vault open.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are gonna raid us?
Brendan.
Yeah, right. We didn't
I
get
do think
anything.
You're
You
gonna
don't
raid
think
us
we're gonna
because
raid
you
you
couldn't get us-
unsuccessfully and leave you alone, do you?
Oh, that's funny.
Brendan,
I mean, don't
Not
get me
even a
wrong.
day.
I feel like
Aw.
raiding people to leave presents for them, but hey, that's just me.
I mean, I do think it was shitty that you guys raided us mid-transit, but it's legit. Like,
I
I'm not gonna
honestly
say ban
couldn't-
these
We left
guys.
every one of your dinos
From-
intact, and we didn't
was
have
that-
to.
We
Yeah.
actually argued the whole time. We were like, our whole plan was actually not to even be discovered, and it was just take your shit and leave. But then you had to show up. If you would have been like 5 more minutes, we would have just been gone. You would have been like, who took all our shit?
But seriously, guys, I mean, we just raided you the night before. I could not believe y'all decided to move the day after.
And I think Suin actually sent you guys a message that it was the worst move strategically you could be doing right now.
There was no way we were gonna defend you guys at this base. There
Right,
there
but
was
you did-
literally.
What you
It's
did is
not a crime
you
to
put all
attack
your
a weak
defenses
point.
out. You could have got your turrets up and going again.
You should have built there before moving.
Hey, Moki, you pushed for this auto filler mod. Why didn't you have that fucking going?
We had it fucking. We had been building. Like they took all of our fucking extra large walls that we've been building, so we didn't have any fucking bullets put in it.
I would like to have you know, I was
No.
extremely confused why I suddenly weighed 4,000 when I was looting your vaults.
I
What
asked
the
for
hell did I just pick up?
Like, how did they carry that away? Like, that was like over 100 of those walls. They like weigh 1,000 for like 10 of them.
We were just take everything, jump in the quets. Take everything, dump it in the quets.
All right, we're kind of going on to 52 minutes now for the conversation.
Yep,
Yeah, we can wrap it up. If anybody has anything additional that they want to talk about, message me about it privately, please. Don't put it in general chat. There are 3 of you guys that literally just whispered me asking how to apply to be an admin, so I put the link in the general thing. Me and Moki are gonna take a look at them this
Oh
week.
man, I'm getting in on this.
There's already been like 6 or 7 people apply, so we're gonna take a look at them all. And
Not a
then
fun job, guys.
I'm gonna paint the entire map, everything. It's gonna be Halloween Town.
Oh my god.
Vote for the king.
That's why I didn't put my head. I've already been an admin on one of these servers. It's a pain in the ass.
So, I think one final question I do have. We were talking as a tribe about just admins, and because a couple of our guys have been admins in the past and actually applied for this as well. How do you make sure the admins or the players trust the admins? And this is in no way directed at you, Moshi. Please understand that. I'm just talking about admins in general. And I heard that there's a setting to log admin actions and that they can be
Jesus
published to the
Christ.
server.
The thing with that, which would be cool, it fucking posts them in like general chat with that shitty fucking yellow text flooding bullshit.
My only issue with that is like somebody donates or new to the server and it's like, hey, I'm gonna donate, and then everybody goes, hey, look, that guy just got some sweet shit. Let's go take it. Like,
Well, no, it doesn't show who it goes to. It just shows.
no, but
that
you know
someone
somebody
deposited
just
in.
got something. I mean, it's just
Whenever Papa comes on and says, I'm here, guys, you know somebody's getting something.
Basically. Now, we
Damn.
have had the admin logging discussion a billion times, and we actually have had it turned on at one point in time. But it's really fucking annoying, especially when we build shit for events, when I gotta do donor items all the time. I don't need people seeing what donors have gotten. I mean, for the most part, everything stays within the exact realm of what I put on the post. So you know that if somebody donates, they're getting 1,000 resources, they're getting, 1 ascendant item, they're getting 1 saddle. But do you really need to know what they're getting? No, it's none of your fucking business. And I'm not trying to say that as a mean thing. I'm just saying there should be some type of privacy. Now, as far as picking the admin and making sure people can trust the admin, there's no way to answer that. And we've actually been bitten by it in the past. I don't know how long some of you guys have been here, but we did at one point in time promote somebody to an admin that turned around and spawned a bunch of crazy ascendant bullshit in that we, unfortunately found out from a few different people, and we took all the actions right away that we could. We wiped out the admin. They got banned from the server immediately. We took care of it right away. So the only thing that I can really tell you going forward is, yes, I don't have chat logs set up, but there are admin command logs out there that I can go through and look up, and I can see if there's, a super wrongdoing. If I see Moki spawning in 1,000 quality, Ascendant Rex saddle, I know that we don't need to fucking do that. So, I mean, you can...
Okay.
I can spawn past 10?
You can spawn past 10. I think
Holy
you can spawn
fuck!
up to 100 quality is what you can go up to.
I didn't know that. I've always just gone with 8 until I get an Ascendant something.
You can change it. First number, 1 through 5.
Exactly.
I mean, so I think one of the big things that can give people confidence is the fact that Papa isn't actually a player, means the lead admin has no reason to be corrupt, and he can keep an eye on everyone else, so you can kind of have confidence in that at least.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people, like, I've gotten bitched at by multiple people for, like, being like, yeah, sure, I'll do admin things, but then I'm not sure what anyone's expecting me to come on here and just spend all my time adminning where I don't get paid to do anything and just not play the game. Like, that's why I was here originally. Like, I will admin and help people with stuff. Like, that is fine, but I'm not going to stop playing. I would prefer to not be an admin if it was between those two options.
Looks you crazy doing this for free.
Yeah, seriously, and who would play if they... I mean, who would be an admin if they're not even playing? That's just crazy.
But yeah, as long as there's some kind of log, that assuages my fears.
There is a log, it just doesn't need to be posted in chat.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
So if there's an issue, we can just bring it to Papa and he can resolve it.
Absolutely. Like Moki said, I don't play the game. I have no reason to ever spawn in shit without, a reason to do it. So if there's ever an issue, you guys know, I have it listed on the forums. If you ever have an issue with anything like that, always come to me. I'll always look into it. I don't want any cheating, no abuse type shit like that ever going down, so.
Cool. So my dog really needs to pee. Is there anything else we gotta talk about?
I think we're good. Just message me if you want something replaced. I'll take care of it. Don't bother Moki. I'll take care of it for everybody. And, it's like 7 days from Christmas, so get in the fucking holiday spirit. No more trash talking. Let's be nice. On the 23rd or the 24th, Big Papa Santa is going to be ghosting into your tribe houses and leaving presents for everybody. So let's all just get along, all right?
Roger that.
Yo, BP, you see our bridge yet?
Hey,
gotta come
Soren,
check
after
this
you
thing out.
take out your dog, could I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah, we'll sort that out later.
Can we agree to some sort of, like, truce period since we've got nothing and aren't gonna raid you and don't want to lose more shit?
Not at all.
Wiping you right now.
Damn.
Alright, I'm getting out of here.
FYI, no one have Allie. Remind Allie to lock things now.
Yeah, I've
Remember,
been
if
yelled
it's
at,
locked,
like,
we gotta
since I
break
got home
it.
from work.
Yeah, if it's locked, we gotta break it.
Leave it unlocked.
My advice is
Put
leave it
walls up
unlocked.
first.
Then
Put
your
walls up
stuff
first.
doesn't decay. We're only gonna take what we need or want. You know what I mean?
Build a base before you put shit in it, especially Senate shit.
Yes.
I'll be back.
Okay, are we good to go?
Yeah, get the
From
fuck
what I
out
can
of
tell,
here.
yeah.
Okay, we're at 59 minutes now.
This has been brought to you by Big Papa Therapy. I am out to
Come back for seconds.
psychologize, therapize, whatever you fucking need. Boost Fraba, grab the earlobe, rub it a little, calm down. Big Papa's here for you.
I like it. BP, you busy at the moment?
Thanks, Papa.
Not at all.
Welcome back from your
Alright,
vacation.
Thank you. I am not, and I am logging on the game right
I
now.
promise I won't curse anybody out for the
perfect.
rest of the year.
Since you're replacing things people lost, I was on the sidelines, and I think I lost a little 300 giga. If you could,
It was
slide
at
me
least
that.
320.
You know what? That's true. I saw it. It was actually at 320.
Yeah.
Male and female.
Thanks, man. I
We had
used
max
the
net.
levels. Yeah.
I think it was like
I had
full
somewhere
level.
around. Yeah. I had somewhere around like I don't know, like 7k damage, something. I don't know. If you could just
Plus that Ascended Saddle, don't forget that.
Yeah, actually, 700 armor. I completely forgot about that. Please, was that my way?
The blueprints, full set.
Yeah, it was the blueprint. It got like one shot by Tyradon.
It was carrying the blueprint.
I'm gonna need a 600% rifle too, please.
Well, if you want to donate to the Big Papa Wants to Buy a Boat This Summer Foundation, I will gladly go ahead and take care of whatever send that you need.
Wait, do you...
I got $5 for that boat.
Right?
How much will 6 get me?